Boss lady did.
Boss lady.
I call to order our regular meeting, February the 20th, 2024, at 5:30 p.m. at the Rockingham County Board of Elections, 240 Cherokee Camp Road, Reedsville, North Carolina. I'd like to welcome the board members here and those of you who chose to visit with us by way of Zoom in the comfort of your home or in your office. Will you stand, please, as we pledge to the flag? And Paula, will you start the pledge for us, please?
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will remain standing, he is, okay. While Pastor West Pitts from First Presbyterian Church gives us our invocation.
Yes. And I'll offer any prayer concerns that you'd want to add on. Hearing none, I'll just pray. Most holy and sovereign God, all goodness and mercy is a gift from you, for which we are eternally thankful. Though our attempts at following your paths of peace are feeble, we pray for the energy to keep at it until your peace becomes not only our peace, but the world's peace. We pray for the efforts of the Rockingham County Board of Elections and its solemn duty to bring free and fair elections to this place. When adversity overwhelms in that effort, may you bless them with calm assurance that actions of justice, even though not always popular, are always right. Guide and keep them on the path of truth rather than power. In all things, may it be your will that is done. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. And once again, thank you, Pastor West Pitts from First Presbyterian Church, Reedsville.
I would stay, but I have to go teach Bible study now. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that prayer. All right, at this time, I would like a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that the agenda is approved. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. We have approved the agenda for today. All right, fifth on the agenda, we're moving on to the approval of the board minutes for January 9th, 2024, which was a regular meeting minutes, February 6th, 2024 absentee meeting minutes, and February 13th, 2024 absentee meeting minutes. Any motion?
I move they be accepted as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve the minutes as presented for January 9th, February 6th, February 13th. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. You have approved the minutes as presented. We do not have anyone for public comments. So we're moving on to number 7 on the agenda, director's updates.
The first thing, the 2024 primary election information. The 2024 primary election early voting started on Thursday, February the 15th. The first day was a little rocky. We had some printer issues. We have new printers, and sometimes they would work immediately, and other times they would pause, and they would have to cancel the voter and actually move to a different station. But everyone did get voted. Since then, it's been a lot better. We've had 1 or 2 here and there, but not as much as we did the first day. We have had a tremendous amount of party affiliation changes before this election. The deadline to change party affiliation was on Friday, February the 9th by 5 p.m. But we have still had a lot of people to try to do that during early voting, and that is not allowed. But in your package, you see a report of the ones that were changed prior to the deadline. Since then, we've probably had 50 to 75 more that will be changed after the election. And just so y'all know, this is not part of the new session law. This has always been the case. It's always been the deadline to change their party affiliation is 25 days before election day. So it's not new. That was a question that was asked. Is this part of the new session law? It is not. It has always been that way. Early voting will be open this Saturday, February the 24th, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at all 4 of the early voting sites. Then the early voting sites will be open next week as well as this week. It's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the last day of early voting is Saturday, March the 2nd, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be no voting on Monday, March the 4th, and Election Day will be Tuesday, March the 5th. The polls will open at 6:30 a.m. and close at 7:30 p.m. or after all those in line at 7:30 have had the opportunity to vote. All 15 precincts will be open. The Board of Elections is not a voting precinct or a voting site. However, if anyone shows up here at the Board of Elections office, we will direct them to their correct voting location. Are there any questions? Okay. The
Does that
2020,
include your comments on the crossing, for the changing parties?
yes,
Okay. Can you help me understand your chart?
yes, sir. All right. The original party is the ones that's over to the left-hand side, going down horizontally, and then the ones that they have changed to is going across. So if you'll look at the very first one,
We had 130 that changed their party affiliation to
unaffiliated, there was 200.
204.
There was a total of 204 of that party, 130 switched to unaffiliated, 69 to Republican, and 5 to no labels.
And 95 Republicans changed to unaffiliated.
No, 79.
79.
But 95 changed their party affiliation.
Right, and then 10 changed to Democrat. Okay, got it.
But this was just the changes from November 1, 2023 to February 13th, which it actually stopped on the 9th. But so it was 387 party affiliations, and like I said, we've probably got 50 to 75 that will be changing after the election.
And these were not new, these were changes.
These were just changes.
And their date on the reports will still remain when they originally set their party affiliation, when they originally registered.
If they change their party affiliation, it will be what their new party is.
Right.
Yes.
But the date that's on the report when they registered is the original date.
Yes, it will be the original date because
Like
this was just a
1981 or
change.
whatever.
That is correct. And that is we have had to explain to a lot of people. A lot of them seem to misunderstand. They think that November is also a party affiliation election. The November election, there's one ballot. And all parties are on that one ballot. So I just wanted to say that in this meeting. We have explained that I've explained it a lot today, but we've explained that a lot since February the 9th.
Right. Okay.
So, but are there any other questions? Okay. The 2024 North Carolina State Board of Elections Winter Conference was held on Sunday, February the 4th through Tuesday, February the 6th in Concord. I attended, and there was a little over 600 election officials there. We learned a lot more information on the new session laws, such as early voting. One of the changes to early voting, with it being a one-stop, it was considered absentee voting. Now that it is a early voting site, it is considered a precinct site. So the voting machine tabulations will not take place at the board's absentee board meeting on election day at 5:00 p.m. Only the absentee ballot tabulation machine will take place. At 7:30, the 4 early voting sites will run just like any of the other 15 sites, and we will have to have a 3 witnesses that night at 7:30 to watch that process, just like we would at any other precinct. If I had not gone to the conference, I would not have known that. That is one of the changes that was not spelled out in the session law. But with early voting, with them saying you have to have a chief judge and 2 judges, they're treating it just like it is a regular precinct. So all 4 early voting sites are in addition to the 15.
So it'd be 15 plus 4.
Yes.
So we've got 19 that we have to account for individually.
Yes.
Okay.
So when the numbers are posted that night, normally the first numbers you see are the absentee mail-in ballots and the one-stop early voting ballots. That will not be the case this election on March 5th. The first numbers you see will be the absentee mail-in ballots. And then the next set you will see most likely will be the 4 early voting sites, because we'll still be waiting for the 15 precinct memory sticks to come in before we can upload that information.
And obviously in the 4 early voting sites, they have commingles the various other precincts. You're going to capture that by precinct in
Yes.
some manner?
Yes, the ballots are coded by precinct. So when the tabulator is that's why it's such a big roll. It catches all 45 ballot styles. So it will capture every precinct and the voters that are actually registered in those precincts.
That information is generally available fairly early in the process, how each precinct is voting
Yes, but it will not be this
until
time.
the election's over.
Yes, because it's no longer an absentee vote. It is an early vote.
Did you get any explanation as to why that was considered to be the right way to do it?
That was the way legislature wanted it. It would be considered just early voting and not an absentee ballot.
Okay, yeah, well,
So we want to make sure that people know that we'll have to be patient,
Yes,
because it is going to take longer to
yes,
do what we have normally done, and patience.
because it's,
That's just the way somebody wanted to do it,
yeah,
that was in charge. That's the way legislation happens.
doesn't necessarily make more sense to do it that way.
And I will let you know that our next conference in August will be in Greensboro. So it
Well, that
is,
means we all gotta go.
it's at the Curry Convention Center. So, the good thing is it'll save the county money and we won't have overnight stays. So, but anyway, that is local for us, so I'm tickled with that as well. But are there any questions on the conference? And I haven't seen anything posted as of yet, but as soon as I get those documentations, I will pass those on to you. I do want to let you know, as far as speaking engagements, on Friday, February the 9th, I was asked to hold a registration clinic at the Madison Mayodan Recreation Center. And we did have 3 people to attend, and they asked questions, and we did do some updated voter registration information, and I showed them how to change information through the DMV online, and how they could actually mail their registration cards in if they had changes, whether their name has changed, their address has changed, they want to change their party. All they need to do on their voter registration cards is notate that information, sign it, and date it. When we get it, they get a new registration card. That's the easiest way to make changes to your registration form. Otherwise, they can do it online, or they can fill out the registration application
Oh, so they can go online and make those
through
changes?
the DMV.
Okay,
They would have to have a license or an ID with a number in order to change it through the DMV, because they would have to put their driver's license number in there in order to access their changes. And they can actually find that on our website or through the State Board of Elections website. It's on our very front page. At the very bottom, it'll say voter registration, and they can go straight to the DMV site and make those changes fairly quickly.
okay.
But like I said, you do have to have a North Carolina driver's license or a North Carolina non-driving ID. And then this coming Friday, February the 23rd, I've been asked to speak during Career Day at South End Elementary.
Still early.
Yes, because of South End actually had an election with their student body a couple of months ago, and they called me and wanted to know how to put that election on. So I helped them try to design a ballot, how to put it in a ballot box, how to count the ballots. We gave them voting stickers, and the person that came from the school said, would you be interested in coming for Career Day? Are y'all looking for people to work in elections? And I said, absolutely. As student assistants, as the director of elections, as the deputy director of elections, as well as the senior deputy of elections. Start them young, because a lot of the kids today do not know about the different jobs. So I was tickled to get that email asking for me to come. And if any of you would like to go, it is this Friday, February the 23rd, and I think I'm supposed to be there at 1 o'clock.
And that's
So
it.
I will let y'all know for sure before you leave
What
tonight.
school?
South End
South End.
Elementary. So,
Got it.
all right. That's all I have.
So that's Career Day.
There is one more thing. I do want to let y'all know that we have had issues with parking at our early voting sites. I did send out an email this morning, and you all were copied on that, to the party chairs to please speak to the electioneers and to the candidates about that. We are having a huge issue in Eden. And there've been some comments made that they would not move their vehicle, that they are registered voters in Rockingham County, well, registered residents or taxpayers in Rockingham County, but the voters come first. They are taxpayers too, and everyone should have the opportunity to park close by to be able to vote. So, I just want to let you know we'll be addressing those issues. So you may be getting a phone call, and
Have you had any response from the party chairs?
I have not. But I will be sending an email to a specific party chair after the meeting tonight about a specific individual at Eden.
But that doesn't reach 30% of our voters, our registered voters. Unaffiliated can
That
have
is
the same
true.
issue.
That is true.
And may
but-
not know,
Yes,
so.
but I would like
Does the
your,
unaffiliated have a party chair?
but I would like your assistance as well. If you see, we're trying to make we're trying to make it accessible to all of our voters. And when we have individuals that are defiant of our rules, and this was one of our rules, but I just wanted to make you aware of that, and also to make the public aware that we need to allow our voters parking access to the early voting sites. I understand that the electioneers and the candidates need somewhere to park as well, but we have asked them to park in other areas so that the voters have a closer walk to the voting site.
Plus the turnover is gonna be minutes
It's correct.
versus hours if somebody's working the polls.
Correct.
Well, is there any kind of signage that we should prepare for that issue that you're dealing with right now?
I'm trying some signs outside. I don't know if y'all noticed those when you pulled up today that says voter parking only.
Saw it.
It has not worked here,
Well, that's indicative it won't work elsewhere.
but they're new. We just got them a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to see what the reception would be. They're not big, but they are visible. But we've had to ask a few people to move their vehicles, but they have moved them without any problems. But Eden is having problems tonight with people moving their vehicles.
And the voting is going on here, how long? Today?
Till 7:30.
Right.
So it is from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
So how many signs do you have? You just got them, you said?
I have
Couple-
4.
Oh, you only have 4.
Yeah. We're just trying to see if they would work, and if they worked here, then we were gonna get more, so we would have them in the future at all the sites. But see, Western, I know their parking lot's a lot bigger. Eden's is not. Mall Street's is bigger. The issues we have with parking is here and at Eden. Those are the two hot spots, but Eden more so.
I'm gonna tell you, some of the people who are parking probably in the voter spots are inside the library, because they're tutoring.
And that's a
And I
possibility.
noticed that today, that there are a lot of young children in there, and there were adults in there tutoring them, so it could be some of them.
Okay.
And may not know the rule.
Right.
We haven't exposed
Yeah.
them to the rule.
And it was closed yesterday, so they didn't
It
get a
was.
chance to come, so they might be doubling up.
And that could be the case, but we have had,
But I think Nelson's point, we do need a fairly good sized sign. If you're not voting, park over yonder.
yes,
Mhm.
we're asking to please park so that the voters have the opportunity.
So do you need someone to just look at 7:30 to see who is parking? I mean, just to look. Not necessarily saying anything, but just observe.
Yes,
Okay,
but
you got it.
yes, I've got
Okay.
someone that's gonna do that.
Oh, okay. Good.
We can count that if you need us to do anything, you'll let us know, right?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, stay out
That's
of it.
why I'm making you aware. Well, no, I mean, if you get any phone calls, this,
Right.
we are asking for assistance with this. That's,
And what kinds of things, if you don't comply,
um,
could take place so that you will know, the public will know? Or you rather not?
I'd rather not say right now.
Okay.
Do like they do in major cities. Raleigh in particular,
They'll tell you.
they designate certain areas for records to police it, and they'll hook a car and move it in a heartbeat because they know they can get a day's storage on it for sure.
I
But they
don't
hooked
wanna
the wrong
go to
guy
that.
one time,
Yeah.
and he changed the law.
I don't want to do that, but that is an option.
Well, it's, I don't know how you convince people that voters are temporary. They're not gonna be there
Correct.
for 4 or 5. But do they know that those spaces are reserved for voters? Do we have signs that says reserved for voters?
No, but,
That's something that should be considered.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you got an area that says reserved for poll workers and included those who are
Well,
working
now,
for the
poll
parties.
workers,
Poll workers are
we don't
parking.
reserve their parking.
They're up the street, across
The precinct,
the bank.
right, the precinct officials are parked way away.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
would be,
Well,
That
they
would be
do their
included.
thing. It's the issue with the people that are
Electioneers.
electioneering and they think they've got rights other than just that.
So, but hopefully it's gonna be resolved and we won't have any more issues, after today. Cause we've got a long ways to go before it's over with. But I may be taking 2 of our signs to Eden. And just
Sounds
see,
like you need to.
Well, I think, when we do the, actual March the 5th election, that would be a good opportunity to see what we need to do.
Yeah.
Relative to trying to address the problem. Because that's gonna be a problem, but nothing like it's gonna be on election day in November.
well, and even election day primary, our voting is pretty decent, but not great. And if we have the turnout on primary that I would think, we could have a problem on a primary on March the 5th,
Oh, yeah, well, that's.
if we haven't addressed it and fixed it.
well, I do not have the day-by-day records of the primary of 2020, but I can tell you that the early voting for this primary has far exceeded the voting of the 2022 primary. Because I think the first day of early voting in 2022 was around 278, and we had 500 and some the
You got
first
some
day.
significant offices up for grabs.
Yes,
so-
it's a different
Yeah,
election. I
yeah.
wish I had the 2020 to compare to, but I do not have that. So,
Have any of you guys voted yet? Have you
I have.
voted yet?
I voted.
What'd you think at your primary, at your precinct? Was it busy?
The precinct that I would normally vote at is Southeast, but I voted here today. Southeast is not one of the 4
Okay,
um,
okay.
voting sites. So I just voted here today.
Yeah, I voted in Madison yesterday, and I got there, I think about 4:30. And it was just, I mean, nothing. There was just no activity at all.
When I got here, I was the only person voting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been that way for all the sites, really.
Yeah. It's
You
like
have a
certain,
little spurt of
Yes.
maybe,
Yeah,
if they come in a carload, you know, you might have 5 come in, but otherwise they trickle in.
yes,
And especially the library, you have more people going to the library than you have
yes. They have had the
to
largest
return
number
their
of
books
voters.
and
yeah, they're usually pretty busy over there at the Eden Library.
So,
It would be interesting to know if the pattern here is that people vote toward the end of the election period, you know, toward the end of early voting, if you have more people coming in.
and so I will have that report if you would like to see that. We have the numbers turned in at 10, 2, 4, and 7:30 every day for all precincts. So we'll be able to tell where the greatest volume of voters are, whether it's morning, afternoon, after work, or
That would be
right
interesting.
before closing.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So I can share that with you once it's all over with. Because you only see the small,
Mhm.
Yeah, the total.
just the total
Yeah.
where we have the breakdown.
Okay.
And I think that's a very good idea that you're having them report to you at those intervals like that.
Yeah, well, that's actually required by the state
I
law.
was getting ready to say, the state requires that you do
Yes.
that.
Because they reminded us of that during the conference. Don't forget, 10, 2, 4.
Because they're tabulating all those counties.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
So you have to report that in to them on those
Well,
time
they
frames
can-
too.
They actually see it in the system.
Oh,
that
each
for the
precinct
ones-
reports it to them and then they report it to the state.
And I can actually check it in the same system to make sure that the numbers they're turning in are accurate. Definitely at the end of the night, but during 10, 2, and 4, it's whatever the count is at that time. But they could be someone coming through the door when they're calling in that count. So by the time I check the numbers, it could be 1 or 2 more than what they turned in.
so the state can see what's on that machine right
Yeah,
now?
through Seams. The ones that are doing theirs
That's
through
the totals.
ebooks, which we are, not all counties use ebooks, but which is electronic transfer. They can see how many have voted. That's all they can see.
Oh, okay, just the count,
Just the count.
not whether they're Democrats,
Oh,
Republicans,
no,
or
no.
candidates. Okay.
No one knows
No one
that.
knows that.
Just that machine, which is not human.
Okay.
So,
The robot.
yes. So,
Okay, if there are no other,
I have a technical question for
Okay.
Paula. I was asked, and I think I know the answer, but I wanted to check it. 2 ladies moved here, one from Kentucky, one from Florida. They're both living in Rockingham County. They are, how shall I put this? They are considering for tax purposes that both of those states do not have a income tax. I believe it's income. And so they're considering Reidsville as their second home. And then they're still maintaining property. Their permanent residence is still Florida and, did I say Kentucky?
I
Tennessee.
think so, yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Their question was, I want to vote in Rockingham County.
it's your permanent place of residence that you spend and lay your head down more than 50% of the year.
No, they don't do that. But they have established it for tax purposes, they tell me. And I told them, I said, well, sounds like it's time to go back to Florida.
The majority,
Right on there.
Yeah, it's where they lay their head, the
If you're talking
majority.
about the 2 ladies, I think you are, I thought they were going to move to Rockingham County permanently.
Well, they are, but for tax purposes, they've established their previous home and they still have it.
I don't know
But
if they're
one of
gonna be
them-
able to
one
let,
of
I don't
them's-
think that's gonna fly.
Well, one of them has already established, and we did check it, and she's already established here to vote.
Wow.
But she
okay.
she didn't bring her driver's license, I think, but she brought her power bill or something with her current residence.
With a Reidsville address or Rockingham County address? or-
Rockingham County.
Yeah, okay.
They'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh
She just
yeah.
don't know when.
Yeah,
It'll happen.
she's skirting on the outside of the law there.
Yeah. It's
She's
supposed to
way
be.
outside.
Yeah.
Based on the law, that's right.
I told her, I said, looks like to me to vote, you're gonna have to go back home.
So, okay.
But that was not an official decision.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second twice that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. We have adjourned.
Look, Council, you can't touch
I'm
it.
getting ready to put them over here.
08.
Not me. They're hurt.